Hello. Hello, America. It's your boy Casey Jones here. I am working on a project. It's pretty sweet. I have sterilized coca coir, and I have mushrooms growing. Medicinal and gourmet mushrooms. And I am currently working on the 6th and 7th batch of stuff to grow. Right now I'm currently sterilizing coca coir in jars because I'm going to try and experiment. The next batch is going to be grown or spawned using brown, backwards to you, but this is organic brown rice. Pretty easy. I will tell you my experience with popcorn for grain spawn hasn't been the best. I have not enjoyed using popcorn for grain spawn like most people have. For one, it's too hard to get the perfect whatever texture, you know, when you boil it. It's hard. It's a hard grain. It's very hard to keep moist all the way through. So anyway, 2 batches of popcorn that I tried failed because it dried out. Ended up killing off the mycelium because it had nothing to feed on. And I didn't want to keep the corn too moist, you know, because it would start to get all gross. So I know Popcorn Tech works. I've seen it work. I actually have 2 jars, small pint jars that took, and out of 12. So I had to throw 10 of them out. So I'm going to see what those 2 can do when I stick them in these 2 jars of coca coir here, sterilized. Because everything was going fine with another batch that I did until I put it in the coca coir. I sterilized everything but the coca coir. And then everything died when I put it in the coca coir. So we're sterilizing the shit out of everything this time. I'm using peroxide, rinsing, alcohol, then rinsing, then alcohol again, and flame sterilize in the glass jars. Rinsing with this water, not that water. And then sterilizing in this. I don't have a pressure cooker, but this actually works really, really good. I'd like to get a pressure cooker. I know I need one. So, yeah. What was I saying? Here's some of our corn grain. You can't really see it, but on the top of this, there's actual mycelium in it. Same with this one. I'm gonna see how they do, but this is after about a week, almost a week. I have almost nothing. The other jars had absolutely nothing, and the grain was totally dry. So for the brown rice tech, I'm using these half-pint jars, the organic brown rice. Got everything all cleaned out. I've got small holes punched. I only used 2 of them. Small holes punched at the tops of the jars. I see a lot of people popping these big ass holes in the tops of their jars. For one, I am no longer a fan of putting holes in your jars because I realize when you sterilize them and you pull them out, I'm finding little brown specks of sediment in my distilled, sterilized water. And I keep asking myself, what the fuck is that? What the fuck? I cleaned it out perfectly. There shouldn't be anything in these jars. I find out it's rust. The bands and the lids on these jars can rust pretty easy, so I know there's a way around it. And I'm thinking maybe some nail polish remover around the open, exposed metal edges should fix it, and should be okay in the sterilizing pot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna get about 5 half-pint jars of brown rice grain spawn going. And I'm also gonna use 4 full pint jars. I kind of want to do an experiment. I know the half pint jars are gonna colonize faster than the full pint jars, but I want to see if the mycelium grows differently in bigger quantities as opposed to smaller quantities. Because what I do to try to save a little bit of time, instead of having a bunch of grain spawn in 2 or 3 jars, big ones, waiting a month for it to colonize and possibly risk spoiling your grain in the process, you know, get the smaller jars. It'll take half the time, if that, and yeah, you'll have more jars, but hey, you'll have less time to wait around with your thumb up your bum. With the thumb up the bum up the thumb up the bum up, you're wasting time. So, this is what's currently growing right now. Albino A+, albino penis envy, golden teacher, B+. I've got 6 different batches going of those 4 strains. I've got, let's see, let me check on my library here. Every amateur to professional mycologist has to have a spore library or genetics library. Where's my flashlight? There it is. As you can see, I've got a small library right here on my top shelf. There's the corn grain. I don't know if you can see it. That's the corn grain that actually took. It looks pretty ready. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is B+ right here in the honey jar. And then we've got this jar here, I believe is albino A+. And so is this one. Yep. Those are just spores. They have started to germinate. I just inoculated them yesterday, the liquid cultures, from spore syringe, and they already started to germinate. That's pretty cool after 1 day. This here is a B+. It's germinating as well. And when I ordered the 4-pack spore syringe from Sporeworks, they actually ended up sending me mycelium of penis envy. And it's doing amazing. It's pretty much tripled in size since I got it. And since I've put it in there, you can see that little piece right there floating by itself. That's about how much I had in the syringe five days ago. And now it's, like I said, tripled, probably quadrupled since just in 5 days. So, shout out to Sporeworks for sending me some awesome penis envy mycelium. And I have here my golden teachers, which were started from spore, and they have started to germinate. You can see the white fuzzy stuff coming off the spores. Got 2 liquid cultures of that. So last time I bought spores from Sporeworks, the first batch pretty much went to waste. All 4 spore syringes. It was my first time doing anything with mycology, so it was pretty much purely experimental. I wasn't at terms with that at first, but now I am. So the second batch. But anyway, here's what's left of the first batch. This is albino A+, and it was in 12 jars, and this tub itself also had mycelium spawning in it, but it got contaminated. So just down to these 2 jars that I've got in the tub, and I've got this light set up, and I've got tons of sterile water on the outer coca coir, so I can turn that light on and, you know, keep a nice hot, or nice warm, humid fruiting chamber. Kind of just the way it worked out with the way things went. I don't know if that's gonna fruit. It's definitely trying to. I'm not gonna open it right now because I've got my sterilized coca coir sitting there and I just don't want to move it. But anyway, that is trying to fruit. It's definitely trying to fruit. It's got some pins on it about that big, little white albino pins, and you can see some blue on the tops. I'm hoping they come up because it's been about almost 2 months, and I've been fighting the contamination ever since I put it in bulk substrate. Excuse me. So always sterilize everything. Your syringes, not with the spores in them or the mycelium, but if you reuse your syringes, sterilize them in your pot, your cooker pot, whatever you use. Sterilize your containers, sterilize your jars, sterilize your soil, sterilize your grain, sterilize, sterilize, sterilize. Or else you're going to end up wasting a lot of hard work. It's very disappointing and upsetting, because when you get serious about this, it takes time, it takes passion, it takes devotion, it takes love, it takes care. You gotta really be focused on what you're doing. And it's real disappointing and upsetting when a batch that you worked really hard on spoils. It sucks. It really sucks. So, take your time. Don't get impatient. Sterilize everything. And just be patient. That's all. Just be patient. Mycelium, it's going to take a while for your stuff to fruit. But your mycelium will grow like crazy. Keep your mycelium healthy. Keep your mycelium clean. And when it's ready to fruit, just do what you're supposed to do. I will keep you updated. Thanks, guys. If you like my videos, hit the like button. If you don't like the videos, hit the dislike button. Doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to sit here and try to push you into hitting the like button. Because if you don't like it, then you don't like it. It's okay. You don't have to be liked. But I'd like to be successful at something, so hit the like button if it's good. If it's not good, hit the dislike button. leave a comment. Tell me if I'm doing something wrong or anything that I can improve to do better. I'm sure if somebody comments, they're going to tell me, first of all, you need to tie your hair back. I know. So, yeah, let me know.